Welcome back to our Spark Learning session. Today, we'll be talking about Spark DataFrames project exercise. We'll go through half of this exercise and we'll continue remaining exercise in next session. So let me read you through some introduction here. We are going to practice some Spark DataFrame skills. You'll be asked some basic questions about stock market data in case such as Walmart stock from 2012 to 2017. This exercise will just ask a bunch of questions, unlike the future machine learning exercises, which will be a little bit looser and be in form of consulting projects. Be more, but more on that later. For now, just answer the questions and complete the task below. For this, we'll be using Walmart stock CSV file. Now it asks me to start a simple Spark session. Let me start that. I will just copy and paste some codes from my other workbook so that I don't type it too much. It's running. Next step, we need to create a data frame to hold the loaded Walmart stock CSV file. Let me type it then. Data frame spark dot read dot csv Walmart stock dot csv info schema true header true. This should load the file to the data frame. Next step, we need to check what are the columns that this dataset hold. For this, we'll type df.columns. That will give us the column names for this dataset. It has data, open, high, low, close, volume, adjusted close. Now let's see what the schema look like. Data frame dot for this data frame, we want to print out a schema, and we'll type like this so we can see the schema here. Now we saw a schema as well. Now next step, we need to see what are the columns here. What are the columns look like for this? What are the columns look like for this? There are 5 columns here, and we want to print out those columns. And we'll just type df.columns, and within indexes, we'll type 0 through 5. 5 is not inclusive. It's a 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And here 5 is not inclusive in that. Not including 5. Use describe to learn about data frame. How do we do this? Data frame dot describe dot show This should give us what we are looking for. There you go. Now, question is, do you see these columns which has like a long decimal places? We want to remove and make it like a two decimal places. How do you do that? Let me show you. First, let me start with printing schema for the data frame returned by describe. What you can see is the all for describe the data frame returned by describe have data type all as string, and to concatenate these, to truncate the decimal places, we need to make the string or cast the string as a double or numeric value. How do you do that? We can do that using format number function, which we will import, which we have imported here. It is a format number. It is on the SQL functions, and we will use this function to truncate the decimal places. Now we need to store this data frame into some variable. Let's say it's result. Now let's print out what is inside this result variable or data frame, and we have this. Next step, we need to go inside this data frame and format each column where we want to have two decimal places. How do you do this? Let me show you. Select summary. First column we want. Second column we want is result. Cast. We need to cast this into double. It is a numeric type. Double. Format number. Format number, which will allow us to truncate the decimal places into 2, comma 2. And on top of that, we need to define the alias for this column, alias as open. Dot show. Let's see what we get here. You see the open, which was which had so many decimal places, now only has two decimal places. Those decimal places have been truncated. We just did for one column, open, but we can do the same thing for other columns also. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now let me repeat the same procedure for other columns too, which we want to display. Low, low, close, close, volume, volume, adjusted close, adjusted close. Let's see what we get here. What we see here is that all the numeric columns which had many decimal places in terms of like a 6, 7, 8 now only have 2 decimal places with them. Therefore, that's how you do it to remove or reduce the decimal places. Next question is create a new data frame with a column called HV ratio, that is the ratio of high price versus volume of stock traded for that day. How do we do this? Let me show you. Let me start by defining a data frame. Data frame with column HV ratio. HV ratio, and it will be done by using two columns we are interested in. Data frame, the high is a high value, volume. Data frame 2, select. HV ratio will be the column name we want to display, and show. And this should give us the HV ratio column, which is basically a division of high divided by volume. Well, we have reached half of the exercise. There are some more questions on remaining other half. We will deal with those questions in next learning session. Let me quickly summarize what we discussed today. We discussed about importing the CSV file into data frame. We talked about showing the columns, how to print a schema of a data frame, how to display first 5 columns of a data frame, and we also talked about describe method of data frame, which returns a new data frame which has its own data type. This can be really confusing sometime, but this is a really important point to remember. Second is, in this newly returned data frame by describe method, we used the format number function to truncate the long decimal places returned by the described data frame. And then we create a new column called SB ratio, which is a ratio of high divided by volume for a particular day. That's all for today. I will see you in next learning session. Thank you so much.